Hi, what's up guys and gals? It's time for Rauta, and this time we have something totally different what you're used to. This is probably the moment when some people are just gonna tune off, do something else, but we're gonna talk about progressive metal, and not by just any band in the world. This one is Sons of Apollo with their album called MMXX, that is 2020 in Roman letters or Roman numbers. Now, most people would be asking, like, what the hell is Sons of Apollo? What that has anything to do with your channel and all that stuff, and how should we know it? Well, once upon a time there was a band called Dream Theater, and this is partially made of those guys, and partially totally some other guys, but we'll get to the lineup in a bit. First, let's do a little bit of unboxing of what this kind of a digital book release actually has inside. Obviously, here is the main album of, well, what is supposed to have the actual music. Why I say supposed to is that, well, yes, definitely it has, but it's not the only one here. This is not a bonus DVD as I was basically expecting, but it's a bonus disc with more music. Not your typical ingredients, however, but more kind of excerpts in the way of usually bands do demo versions. These are not demo versions, but instrumental versions and a cappella versions. That is, some are only vocal tracks and some are only music. Then what we have here, interestingly enough, as you can see, it's very big booklet with photos, lyrics, lots of stuff, to be honest, to go through. That's why I'm skipping this in a rather fast pace, because if we would be spending a half a minute on every possible page or two, it would make quite a lengthy video, don't you think? But as you can see, this is very much worth your money. Now, you don't get that stuff if you buy a digital version, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to this on Spotify or whatever. So these are, once again, the kind of versions you want to have if you're a real fanatic. You don't have to be a collector even to enjoy this kind of extra material. In my opinion, let's say if I was a fan of Sons of Apollo, this would be the version I would be getting. Well, maybe vinyl, but I'm not that big of a vinyl maniac. So why would you settle with a Spotify version or any streaming kind of version if you have something like this? Now let's take a look at this band before I start to talk about music, shall we not? So here we have the band's Metal Archive site, which is something that I usually just use for myself, but also provide you information when it's about a band or album. As you can see, 2017, based in the United States of America, and then we have this rather small lineup image, but there you have it. Only 2 albums out, and then some singles, live album, and so forth. But what makes it really interesting is this lineup. As you can see, this is the current lineup. Billy Sheehan on bass. As you can see, lots of bands, not so much metal, but anyway, under his belt, so to speak. David Lee Roth, Michael Schenker group, and so forth. Steve Vai. Then we have Mike Portnoy, which is probably one of the most highly rated drummer of all times, especially in rock metal. And he has a lot of bands, as you probably know. Mostly, I guess, known for his Dream Theater band, but also lots of other bands as well. We have this man called Bumblefoot. These are less known maybe compared to other ones, but still very talented one. We have Derek Sheridan with also quite a few of bands, and then we have Jeff Scott Soto as the vocals guy, and also he's very big name, not only his own band but also Axel Rudy Bell, Yngwie Malmsteen, Well, to be honest, lots of talent here. So I think it kind of assesses it very well here. Supergroup consisting of established virtuoso musicians. Well, that's a quite lot to swallow, but that's what makes this band interesting, right? Now, the music here with this album, MMXX, which consists of roughly 60 minutes of music, is that this is indeed made with great skill, great talent, great musicianship, great instrument handling, great vocalist. So obviously the music is gonna be also mind-blowing great. Well, not so much. Obviously it depends how much you're into sheer music talent, with instruments and vocals and all that stuff, how much you can actually understand and value the meaning of super production, and of course how much you're into progressive metal. Now, me being more of a kind of a boneheaded, simple guy with more fascination towards black metal, death metal, thrash metal, well, heavy metal, and occasionally going to different areas. Obviously, I'm more of a stranger to this kind of a genre, but that is not to say I cannot understand or like this kind of music. Well, to some degree. Now, the thing here is, this is very much made with good production, like I said. And Soto is very talented musician, vocalist. But it is, of course, a matter of taste whether you're gonna like certain kind of vocalists or certain kind of people playing drums and guitars and whatnot. Now, if I would be rating this from the production kind of a point of view, or how much I like the vocalist, I would be saying this is very close to being a 5 out of 5 star kind of a release. Now, the production is just top notch. It makes every piece of instrument just like shine through, and you can pretty much enjoy all the details because it's so well mixed and everything is kind of like in a place. Now, Soto, being a good classic heavy metal vocalist, also does some really good job. But, he lacks the kind of a colors and shades maybe that people who are fans of, like, say, Bruce Dickinson or, I don't know, Rob Halford, he's not on the same playing field, if you know what I mean. Now, this is not to compare these two or three different vocalists here. This is merely trying to say that it totally requires certain kind of taste, acquired taste, if you will, to just get everything out of the music with certain kind of musician and vocalist. And I think Soda is doing fine. I would even say he's great, but not among my favorite vocals. Maybe because it's just, like I said, matter of taste. When it comes to the actual songwriting, we're a little bit on the different page. Now, this is more about those virtuosos getting, their skills shine. They're not going overboard with it. So, in essence, it's not like they're losing their grasp whenever Portnoy comes out with some nice drum ideas, or when the guitar players are just, putting their solos, their leads, or whatever. But it's more of a lacking kind of a catchiness, lacking those important hooks, which are, in my opinion, and I would say in many of people's opinion, no matter what your favorite genre is, you need to have those hooks, those memorable moments, those catchy riffs, chorus parts, and whatever to make the whole album interesting. Now, this is totally different breed of extreme metal. Well, it's not extreme metal, but compared to that. And as such, you are not gonna find these extremities to make this album worthwhile. It's more about the skills, the interesting ideas in details and whatnot when you go to create this kind of music. Now, like I said, if it was all about the production and stuff, this would be near perfect an album. But songwriting wise, it's lacking some kind of a magic. Like, there's so much going on, yet it kind of fails to capture me fully. Now, this is not to say this isn't a good album, because I think this is a rather good album. Very nice to listen to, kind of easy to enjoy, and doesn't matter if it's more on the background or if you're focusing on some details. But it's not great as such. It's not a next masterpiece. No matter whether we are talking about metal in general or whether we are talking about progressive metal specifically. So this is kind of something for already fans, you know, fans of progressive metal, fans of Dream Theater guys, or fans of Soto and the rest. So it totally kind of requires you to have this kind of a passion already. This is not for people blindfolded going there and, hey, I'm gonna just buy this album because it's such a nice digibook. For me, this was my first touch, so I kind of should know what I'm talking about in those terms, like blindly coming there. But anyway, I think you should be giving it a chance if you have at any kind of a sweet spot for progressive metal. And if you're allergic, on the other hand, waste no second giving this band a chance. This is just too bizarre or too whatever for you. Anyway, here's my take on Sons of Apollo MMXX 2020. So with that information, check out these links that I have provided you in the description box. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Take care.